Good evening, folks. This is Deb Delapiana, and this is tonight's short take. You know, I really do want to go to bed. It's kind of late, but we need to spend a little bit of time talking about Kyle Rittenhouse and his elevation to hero status. So let's talk a little bit. Now, here's what we know. We know that Kyle Rittenhouse was underage during the time he attended the riots in Kenosha. He could not buy a gun legally. We know that someone named, I got notes here, sorry, Dominic Black, who was 18, and his friend bought the gun at the time. Now, Kyle does not live in Wisconsin. He lives one state over, and he was with his friend. It's not that the gun was bought where Kyle lives. The gun was bought in Wisconsin. So Mr. Black bought his gun. He bought him a Smith & Wesson M&P 15, which is an AR-15, essentially, an automatic weapon. And the two of them went out in the middle of riots to protect car dealerships from rioters. These people were Black Lives Matter rioters who were upset about the fact that the police, once again, shot multiple times a person in the back, rendering him paralyzed. This was right after the George Floyd shooting. Right. So I'm not justifying rioting at all, but I am understanding where it's coming from, because really, quite frankly, in America, no one gives a fuck how many times cops kill Black people. Nothing ever changes here. Okay. Now, they are being held accountable in many instances, but the fact is, not enough instances. So Kyle Rittenhouse, who is underage, is dropped off by his mother to go and protect car dealerships in a city where he was never invited to do so by those businesses. But I want to tell you that Kyle Rittenhouse did not act alone, because the police invited armed right-wingers to Kenosha, Wisconsin, to protect businesses from what they referred to as thugs. Once again, reinforcing the notion that all Black people are thugs. So Kyle Rittenhouse goes to Wisconsin, where he doesn't belong. He's underage. He's 17 years old. Why wasn't he at home? My kid would not be transported to a location where a riot was happening to participate in that riot with a fucking automatic weapon in his hand. Mr. Black's father, by the way, knew that Kyle Rittenhouse was underage and watched him walk out the door with his son to go take care of business. So Kyle Rittenhouse is found innocent by a jury of his peers. Accept it. That's what happened. Because in Wisconsin, the definition of self-defense is a little bit different and has changed over the years. So he basically shot dead two unarmed people. And according to him, one of the unarmed people he killed, he was afraid. He lunged at the gun, and he was afraid that the guy was going to take the gun and shoot him. But we'll never know if that was his intent. The jury bought that. The jury acquitted him. The second guy was doing what he thought was right. He was protecting a bunch of other people from Kyle Rittenhouse, who was brandishing a gun, hit him with a skateboard, and Kyle Rittenhouse shot him dead. Kyle Rittenhouse, by the way, from the middle of the riots, picked up his fucking cell phone and called a friend to tell him he just killed a man. He did not call an ambulance. He did not alert police to this fact. He left the man on the street. Understand this, folks. He's not a hero. He killed two unarmed people and injured a third. He's a 17-year-old thug. Let's go back in time. Maybe the jury doesn't take this into consideration, and maybe they shouldn't. Because you have to literally render a verdict based on fact. But there's a reason why this should never have happened, because Kyle Rittenhouse should never have ever been there to begin with. His mother should have told him no. Don't tell me you don't have control over a 17-year-old, because you actually do. I've had two of my own. But what do the GOP, people in the GOP do? They elevate him to hero status. They offer him jobs as people who could go to work for them as an aide. He's already posing in front of the Capitol, saying that that's going to be his place of employment in 5 years. Kyle Rittenhouse is a punk thug. Okay? Maybe you can't call him a murderer, but he killed 2 people who were unarmed. And we'll never know what those people's intentions were, because they were unarmed. And they're dead. And they're not here to speak for themselves about what they would do. There's a great article I'm going to post. There will be a YouTube video of this. We'll have a ton of information on Kyle Rittenhouse and the whole thing, including the police, culpability in all of this. What's the matter? The police couldn't handle it themselves? Then you call up the fucking National Guard. But you don't call in a bunch of right-wing armed thugs with automatic weapons. And herein is the crux of the problem. Automatic weapons, semi-automatic weapons need to be banned in this country and taken off the streets. They exist for one reason only: to kill large numbers of people in a short period of time. And nobody in America has a right to that. No one in America has a need for that kind of weapon. But there's a great article here, by the way, I know I got distracted, about Kyle Rittenhouse and his, hero status. People in the government calling him the John Wayne. You know what? I never liked John Wayne. Never. I never liked his politics, but I'm sure of one thing. I do not believe that John Wayne would ever have shot an unarmed person. If John Wayne felt threatened by an unarmed person, I believe John Wayne would have laid his gun down and fought him with his fists. And you know what? That would have been acceptable to me. But that's not what happened. So let's put this into perspective here. The police invited all of these scumbags to help them out. Kyle Rittenhouse showed up. He killed 2 unarmed people. He's not a hero, not by a long shot. And he's not innocent. He was found not guilty. But he isn't innocent. He is culpable for his actions. He is accountable for his actions. And so is his mother. Kyle Rittenhouse was in a place he should never have been. His mother brought him to that place, knowing what was going on. The purchaser of the gun and his father knew he was underage and let him leave the house with that gun. And the end result is that 2 people were dead. And no one cares. All they care about is that Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero. Kyle Rittenhouse isn't a hero. He's a punk and he's a thug. And you can dress him up in whatever kind of suit you want. And you can pose him with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz. And you know what? It doesn't change a thing. He's still a scumbag. I urge you all to go and join our YouTube channel. It is in the profile. We have a lot of videos that you don't see here. And all of the videos that we have here, we produce for YouTube. And we have all of the backup for everything we say. So I will talk to you guys later. Be a new topic tomorrow, and I'll see you again.